journey home to your heart. Storytelling agents in America. Welcome to our home Storytopia. Asian American
Once upon a time,
Storytopia.
not so long ago.
Once upon a time
Storytopia.
Asian American Storytopia.
Hi there, my name's Robert Kikuchi-Yngojo, and welcome to Asian American Storytopia. We'll have some stories and a whole lot of fun for you, and it's so wonderful to see you all today. So, hey, let's get started.
I'm Tobey. I'm Japanese American. About 100 years ago, my grandparents came from Japan to the United States to make it their new home. I live in Olympia, Washington. This story is from Malaysia and Indonesia, which are countries in Southeast Asia. It's about a little creature called a mouse deer. Now, the mouse deer, or sangkancil, is about the size of a cat, and it is a trickster. Satu hari, one day, the little mouse deer was hip-hopping along the Gombak River. Oh, hari ini panas sekali. Oh, today is such a hot day and I am so thirsty. And he looked out into the river and he saw something floating by. That could either be a log or a crocodile, buayar. Oh, and I'm afraid of crocodiles because they love to eat mouse deer. So in his biggest voice that he could come up with, he said, now that could either be a log or a crocodile. Logs talk. Crocodiles do not. And out from the water came two big googly eyes that became very big as it saw the mouse deer. Lunch! And they went down into the water. Logs talk, but crocodiles do not. Aha! Then a snout came out of the water. Apa kabar, mouse deer? How are you, mouse deer? It's a lovely day today, isn't it, to take a walk? And then the mouse deer looked at this log and just gave a great big laugh because, Pachik buayar, Mr. Crocodile. Logs do not talk. Sanga, bodo, you are so silly. And with that, the mouse deer continued hip-hop along the Gombak River until it found cooler water and an area that was safe from crocodiles. Terima kasih. Hi, this is my niece, Michiko.
And this is my Aunt Toby.
Michiko, I was noticing your shirt. It's so cute. What is that emblem you have there?
Thank you. It's from a Japanese film called My Neighbor Totoro.
Oh, that is darling. I seem to recall seeing like a stuffed animal sort in a toy store. Is that possible?
Yes.
Well, today's activity is a cooking one. And there's a bit of a story behind it. My mom,
My grandma,
had 5 children. And on this particular day, she was just too busy to go grocery shopping. And she knew these kids were coming home. So she thought, what was she going to do? So she opened up the refrigerator and there she should see some ground beef or hamburger meat. So she took the meat, put it in a bowl, and what do you think she might have put in it?
maybe some breadcrumbs, green onions, and shoyu.
It sounds very yummy.
Oh yeah.
And that's what she did. And she took a scoopful of that meat, made it into little meatballs, and she called it Horiuchi Meatballs. Now, this recipe has been in our family for 3 generations. Who would that be then?
Grandma, you, and me.
Ah,
My grandma always told me that Horiuchi means moat around the castle. We hope you enjoyed today's activity. The ingredients you'll need for Horiuchi meatballs are 3 tablespoons soy sauce and 2 tablespoons sugar, 1/4 teaspoon ginger, half a cup of breadcrumbs, some green onion, half a pound of ground beef or any choice of meat. Please do this with an adult and wash your hands. So here we have some breadcrumbs, soy sauce, ginger, and our ground beef. Now we're going to start putting everything into the bowl. So we're going to put our meat in first. Just going to put that to the side. Next, we're going to put in some ginger. And the ginger is going to add a lot of flavor to the meatballs. So I'm just scooping that in and plopping it in. Putting that to the side now. Now we're going to grab our soy sauce. Going to measure that out. Now this is really going to add some savory flavor to the meatballs. So sprinkle that in. And now you're going to grab your breadcrumbs. And this is really what holds the meatballs together when we're later forming them. So just dump that right in. And now we're going to mix everything together. Now we're going to roll our meatballs together to put in the pan. Once we've got them in the pan, we're going to saute them and make sure that they're all nice and brown. Now that we see that they're done, we're just going to put them off to the side to make our sauce. For the sauce, we're going to add some soy sauce and some sugar. We're going to make sure that the sugar is completely melted. And now we're going to add our meatballs back into the pan, and we're going to saute them and make sure that the sauce is all over the meatballs. Once cooked, we're just going to put it on the plate to get ready to eat. Right now we have our green onions, and we're just going to sprinkle that all around to make it look all pretty. Itadakimasu is what we say in Japanese before we eat our food. I love to eat rice with my Horiuchi meatballs, as I think it makes it that much better. Learn how to make onigiri rice balls in episode 1. Thank you for watching.
Hi, my name is Nancy Wang, and I am Chinese American. I was born in New Orleans, Louisiana, but now live in San Francisco. But my people came all the way from China over 170 years ago in 1850. Boy, I wish I could talk to them now and get all their stories about their adventures. But that's a long time ago. But hey, you could talk to your grandparents or your parents about the stories they have, like stories when they were your age. I would love to hear those. Oh, talking about stories, I have one for you from China. And it is called The Judge and the Stone. Someone stole my money! Someone stole all my money! Cried out Anu. He stood in the marketplace crying tears of sadness and anger streaming down his face. He was only 10 years old. How could he tell his papa, his grandma, what happened? She had worked so hard all morning so he could sell her turnip cakes. She trusted him to bring home the needed money for their survival. They were poor. There was just him and his papa, his grandmother, for his own parents had already died, and his grandpa, his gung-gung, had died as well. So he alone was the only one who could sell his papa's fried turnip cakes. Every morning, this was his job. Upon waking up, he would carefully place paper at the bottom of each of his 2 baskets to absorb some of the grease from the fried turnip cakes. And on this fateful morning, he had loaded 300 of his papa's turnip cakes. 150 turnip cakes were placed carefully onto the paper in each basket, and then each basket was hung at each end of his shoulder pole. Now he was ready, and off he went to the marketplace in town. Soon he sold all 300 cakes, and he was so happy and proud of himself. He and his papa would be able to buy some needed coals for heat and cooking, and some food for the week. Suddenly he heard a cry and saw an elderly woman fall, all her fruit rolled out of her baskets. Anu immediately put down his own shoulder pole to help her gather the fruit to place back into her baskets. "Oh, Toche, thank you, young man. How kind of you." Anu bowed and then returned to his own baskets. But they were missing. "Oh, someone stole my money. Someone stole all my money." Concerned shoppers ran over to him, trying to console his bad luck. Unfortunately, no one had seen the person who took his shoulder pole with the baskets and his money. Now Anu sat in the middle of the marketplace, his head buried in the palms of his hands. "Oh, so sorry," the crowd murmured. Just as the crowd began to leave, a kind, elderly man passed by, stopped and asked what had happened. After being told, the man introduced himself, Judge Kong. "I will help you catch the thief." He immediately instructed everyone to search for evidence, and soon enough one of the shoppers found Anu's shoulder pole and baskets slammed against a large stone. The money hidden underneath the paper Anu had placed in his baskets that morning was gone. "Someone stole my money! Someone stole all my money!" "Humph!" puffed the judge. "It seems we must put that large stone on trial." "Weishima, what?" And the crowd laughed and laughed at the silly old judge. But they were none the less curious. This trial would be the one to attend all year. Putting a stone on trial, crazy, but interesting. Judge Kong simply smiled and then instructed his servants to pick up that large stone and take it to court. He then announced, "If you wish to attend this trial, you must first place 20 cents into the bowl of water that will be at the door before entering." Once again, the eager onlookers laughed and shook their heads. "Weishima, what?" But it didn't stop them from attending. And so, at the door of the court, one by one, each attendee took out a 20-cent coin and placed it into the bowl of water. And then they took a seat, eager for the trial to begin. Well, finally, the last attendee, a man in that long line, reached into this money bag hanging from his waist. He took out a 20-cent coin and plopped it into the bowl. "Aha!" shouted Judge Kong. "This man is the thief. Arrest him immediately." The seated crowd turned toward the door and the water bowl. "Weishima, what? How do you know he is the thief?" Judge Kong simply smiled again, this time with a twinkle in his eyes. "Because this man's coin has left a ring of oil in the bowl. Search his purse now, and you will find that all his coins are greasy. from being under the paper that soaked up the oil from this child's turnip cakes. And indeed, the man's coins were greasy. Judge Kong returned all the coins to Anu, including all the 20-cent coins deposited into the bowl of water at the entrance to the court trial of the large stone. Well, that day, everyone left with a smile on their faces and a nod of approval. Except for the greasy-fingered thief, who promptly landed in jail. Boop.
Well, that's it for today's program, and we hope you had fun and learned something new. Hey, if you enjoyed this show, give us a thumbs up on our Asian American Storytopia channel, and don't forget to subscribe. Hey, it's free. Yeah, we look forward to sharing more stories on our Asian American Storytopia, and certainly tell your friends about us. So, until next time, sayonara, that's Japanese for goodbye. Or sige, see you later, Filipino, zaijian, Mandarin Chinese, and certainly, bye-bye.